Hi guys, this is part 2 of lesson life processes for class 10th biology. So in this lesson we are going to learn the nutrition in plants. Plants perform a special process called photosynthesis and they prepare their food material. So the raw materials that they use for photosynthesis are carbon dioxide, water, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. The food prepared is carbohydrate, that is glucose, which is stored in the form of starch. After forming many glucose molecules, all these are put together, they will be stored in the form of starch in plants. And at the end of the reaction, we can also see the formation of oxygen. So, plants use raw materials, that is the inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll and prepare their own food material, that is carbohydrate, glucose. So, oxygen is released and even water is released as byproduct. When you see the equation of photosynthesis, 6CO2 plus 12H2O, you can see sunlight and chlorophyll. In the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, it is giving rise to glucose, C6H12O6. That is the formula for glucose. And even water molecules and oxygen is released. So, this process is performed by mostly green plants and some bacteria. So, what are the three main events we can find in the process of photosynthesis? Three main steps are there. First one is absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll. So, whatever equation we have seen, it is not happening at a time. It is happening step by step. First step is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. Where is this chlorophyll present? Chlorophyll is present in the chloroplast of plant cells, especially in the leaf cells. In that we can see there is a green colored pigment called chlorophyll that is absorbing sunlight. So after absorbing sunlight, that energy is stored in the form of chemical energy in the plant cells. Chemical energy, that is ATP. All living organisms, plants, animals, they have energy source, that is ATP. ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. Like how we have our own currency in each country, we will be having 1 rupee, for example, in rupees, etc. in India. Like that, euros in Europe. Like that, we can see here in living organisms, this energy currency is stored in the form of ATP. So, that is also called energy currency, adenosine triphosphate. So, that solar energy is changed into chemical energy. This chemical energy will be utilized to combine water molecules and carbon dioxide. Okay, so let us see the second step, conversion of light energy into chemical energy. And at the same time, the energy, some energy is also, sunlight is also splitting the water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Water is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen. So, sunlight splits the water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Then, after this, the hydrogen which is formed because of splitting, that will be adding with the carbon dioxide. So, that process we call reduction of carbon dioxide by hydrogen to form carbohydrates. So, why it is called reduction? To any substance, if hydrogen is added, we call it that the substance has undergone reduction. In the same way, carbon dioxide is added with hydrogen. So, we get the carbohydrate, that is C6H12O6 here. So, there are three main steps. First step, absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. Then second step is conversion of light energy into chemical energy, ATP. And splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. And this hydrogen is reducing the carbon dioxide. That is reduction of carbon dioxide by hydrogen to form carbohydrates. So what happens to this oxygen which is formed from the water after splitting? That oxygen is released out in the form of a gas. That's why we say that at the end of photosynthesis, oxygen is also released. So let us see the next part of the lesson, that is in these plants we can how the process is happening. We can see here that is a green plant which is with chlorophyll and sunlight it is absorbing. After absorbing sunlight, the ATP is formed in the plant, and the plant is also able to take the carbon dioxide and it is absorbing water with the help of roots from the soil. It is absorbing the water, and what is formed finally? Glucose is formed and oxygen is released. So this is a simple diagram with which they try to explain the process. So coming to this, where is this chlorophyll present? So chlorophyll is present in the green leaves in all the plants. Okay, green plants we can find this chlorophyll pigment. It is green in color. So it is a chemical substance. It is called green pigment. So it is a green pigment present in the leaves. If we observe a cross section means if you take out the layers of the leaf, observe under the microscope, we can see there are many cells present inside the leaf. There are first outer layer, we call it as upper epidermis. This is upper epidermis. This is upper epidermis. And then one layer of cells which is present on the lower side, this is called lower epidermis. And in between, whatever tissue is present, this is called mesophyll tissue. So when you see the cross section of the leaf, we can find broadly the three layers, that is upper epidermis, lower epidermis and mesophyll tissue. Above this upper epidermis and lower epidermis, there is a non-cellular layer. This layer is called cuticle. It is waxy cuticle. It is waxy in nature. Cuticle it is called. It is a non-cellular layer, not made of cells. And what is the use of cuticle? It helps in preventing the transpiration process from the leaves. All of you know that transpiration is a process that is from the leaves. Through small pores of the leaves, water is sent out in the form of water vapor. So that we'll be discussing in the next chapter also. So let us see, cuticle is the layer, non-cellular layer which is present above the upper epidermis and even above the on this lower epidermis also. This helps in preventing transpiration, reducing transpiration. So when you see the mesophyll tissue, in the mesophyll tissue we can find there are some long cells. These long cells we call them as palisade parenchyma or palisade mesophyll tissue. And there are some irregularly shaped cells. In between these cells there are large spaces also. That is intercellular spaces are present which are filled with air. So these irregularly shaped tissue of the mesophyll, we call it as spongy parenchyma. It means mesophyll has two types of cells. Long cells, those are palisade parenchyma, and irregularly shaped cells, spongy parenchyma. So when you see these cells, here we can find there are so many chloroplasts we are able to see inside this particular cell. When you take out this mesophyll cell, we can see cell wall, cell membrane, and then these small whatever many chloroplasts are present. Central vacuole is there and nucleus is present, and this is all the cytoplasm. So when you see this chloroplast, take out when you observe this chloroplast is a double layered membrane. It is covered by a double layered membrane. Inside this there are so many membranes present one above the other. Each lamella or membrane we call it as thylakoid. They are present, each one is one thylakoid. They are present in a line, they are piled up. So this one bunch or one pile, we call it as one granum. What is it called? One granum. So in the chloroplast, where is this chloroplast present? In this mesophyll tissues, especially mainly in mesophyll tissues. We can see these chloroplasts are present. These chloroplasts have membranes inside. These membranes are called thylakoids. All these thylakoids, we can see they are present in a line. They are present one above the other. So these thylakoids pile up and form the granum. In these thylakoids, chlorophyll is present. So why are we studying all these? Chlorophyll, where is it present? It is present in the granum or in the thylakoids of the chloroplasts. It is present. So what is its function? It is able to absorb the sunlight. So what are the other raw materials we require for photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide. How does this carbon dioxide enter the leaf cells? Carbon dioxide enters through small tiny pores present in the epidermis of the leaf. What are those tiny pores called? Stomata. Stomata are the tiny pores present. Through that, the exchange of gases also will be taking place. So, just now we studied at the end of photosynthesis, oxygen is released. That oxygen also will come out, and for photosynthesis, it is requiring carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide also enters into the leaf through these small tiny pores. So here you can see the aromas. In between there small opening is there. This small opening, that is stoma. One pore is called stoma. Many pores are called stomata. So through this one stoma, carbon dioxide is entering inside and it will go inside the cell. So after that it will be taken up by it will enter the chloroplast. There the other process will be happening. So through this stomata, exchange of gases will take place, and even we can also see transpiration also will be taking place. So the next slide, when you see, we can see what are stomata. When you observe, when you take the upper layer of this, that is epidermis of the leaf, and observe under the microscope, we can find small openings. These are the small openings. Those openings are called stomata. And whereas on either side of the stomata, that is opening is this, on either side of the stomata, we can find there are kidney shaped cells. How many are there? 2 are there. So these 2, the kidney shaped cells, are called guard cells. They are guarding, like a security guard. They will be guarding this opening. So these guard cells, why are they called guard cells? Because they will be regulating. They sometimes, whenever it is necessary, they will be closing this opening, and when it is necessary to absorb carbon dioxide to allow, that time it will be again opening, and if it has to stop the transpiration, that time it will be closing. So this stomata is open stomata. This is called closed stomata. So when they open and when do they close? Let us see. Each stoma has a pair of guard cells which control the opening and closing of the stomatal pore. When water enters the guard cells, it swells and the pore opens. So when the water is taken inside this, all cells of the plant absorb water. Same way, guard cells also get the water. When they get the water, they swell and they cause the complete shape of the kidney shape of the guard cell when we can see. So because of this, the central opening will be opening. And when the guard cells lose water, that is, when they lose water, they become flaccid. Flaccid means loose, little loose, and they come closer to each other. That time this opening will be closed. So open, when they absorb water, they get the complete shape of the kidney shaped or bean shape, and the stomata will be opening. When the guard cells lose water, that time they come closer, the two guard cells come closer little, and this opening will be closed.